So for only the second time since 1985, when the field expanded to the 64 teams that we all know and love, we've got all four one seeds: Auburn, Florida, Duke, and Houston. Coincidentally, the last time and the only other time that all one seeds met was 2008, which also happened to be in San Antonio. That, of course, was the classic championship between Kansas and Memphis, where Kansas stormed back because Memphis couldn't make their free throws. Mario Chalmers hit that very, very clutch three, one of the greatest shots in the history of the tournament, and Kansas wound up winning Bill Self's first title as head coach with Kansas. It was a pretty ho-hum Final Four. Memphis took care of UCLA pretty easily, and Kansas, I think, was up like 42-18 or something on North Carolina. So the semifinals were pretty unmemorable and blowouts, but the championship wound up being a great game and one of the all-time NCAA championship games. Now, there, understandably, especially the last year or two, has been a lot of talk about, is this going to be like the new normal moving forward with the transfer portal and NIL? And I think it's important. You have to understand that the group of one seeds this year are historically good. The Duke team currently, Ken Palm has been running their site for about 30 years or so, 28 years, I think. And Duke is the second highest power rated team in the history of the site in terms of the net rating. The only other team that was higher was the 98-99 Duke team that got upset by UConn for the Huskies' first championship. Then you got Auburn is last at 10th. I would dispute that, but they're like the 10th highest rated team in the history of Ken Palm. And then Florida and Houston are 6th and 8th, so really, really neck and neck. So, in the 28-year history of that website, four of these top 10 teams, or four of the top 10 all-time teams are this group right here. So, should make for an awesome Final Four. Historically good one. And, my pick, I don't feel comfortable taking Houston. I'm going to take Auburn to beat Duke in the championship. I think Auburn-Florida is a 50-50 game. The spread's indicative of that. Florida is a 2.5-point favorite. So I really think that game could go either way, and I'll say Auburn gets it done. As long as Broome can rebound, and he's able to change games in such a big way. Even, I know he's hurt right now, but even just by being on the court, he's a huge difference maker. And then Baker Mazzara is a veteran player too, and I expect them to make the final and then beat Duke once they get there. My flight for San Antonio leaves in about 4 hours or so. So see you guys in a bit, and looking forward to the semifinals and the championship Monday night. So I'm in San Antonio now. Got here about 4:30 yesterday, Central Time. Pretty in terms of basketball perspective, pretty star-studded flight. Had famed St. Anthony's coach Bob Hurley on my plane. Had Fox Sports commentator John Fanta on my plane. Had the current NJIT coach Grant Billmeyer on my plane. So good group of people from the basketball, from especially like New Jersey basketball circles. It's funny because me and Grant went through the TSA line pretty close together, and I thought it was him, but wasn't sure. And he was saying hi to a couple of hoop group guys, and I asked them, like, who was that? And they told me it was Grant, and I'm like, I thought so. And a couple, or more than a couple, but like 20 years ago when I was in middle school, Kevin Boyle's team came to my school for practice, and Grant was one of the players. So it was like wild seeing him again, like all these years later. And he took over for NJIT a couple of years ago. So all those guys were on my plane. Like I said, some hoop group coaches. And a lot of other coaches too. I saw one of Mama's assistant coaches. I saw a FDU coach. I saw a coach from Geneva. East Stroudsburg. So it is interesting. I heard there's like a big coaches convention at the Final Four, but it's interesting to see like a lot of the like high Division I coaches kind of mingling with the Division III coaches as well. And it seems like, and there is a lot of Division III teams in the Pennsylvania, New Jersey area. So not surprising that a lot were on the plane yesterday. Yesterday was a long day, so pretty much took it easy once I got to my hotel around, like 5:30, 6 o'clock. Today is definitely going to be a lot busier. My plans for the afternoon, it's 11:30 as I say this, but I got a ticket for the Lyndon Johnson Presidential Library, which is on the campus of of the University of Texas in Austin. So gonna check out the Longhorns campus a little bit and check out LBJ's library. I heard you probably need like 2-3 hours for that. So gonna head up there and then hopefully check out Austin for a little bit. And then my friend is a big fan of barbecue, and he said that Austin is a great hotspot for Texas barbecue, as well as like that whole area. Seems like there's a lot of really good spots. So I'm gonna try to check out one of those spots for dinner, and then around 7 o'clock tonight, my time, gonna check out the Red Rock. I think they're the Express against the Toledo Mud Hens. So it's Detroit's AAA team against the I think the Round Rock was the Texas Rangers. So that should be a fun game. They're very early on the AAA season, and it definitely going to be cool to check out another part of Texas, because that is a bit of a drive from here. It's about like an hour and a half, 2 hours. So about an hour and a half to Austin. So that's going to be my next stop. So there's a college all-star game happening about a half hour from now. Gonna check that out. Some pretty big names. Stephen Ashworth from Creighton's playing in it. Wade Taylor IV from Texas A&M's in it. A couple guys on mid-majors too. Trent McLaughlin from Northern Arizona. The New Zealand kid from UC San Diego's in it. So I'm looking forward to that. The last 4 hours has been open practice by all the 4 teams remaining. Didn't get to check that out, but I'm looking forward to the All-Star game, and it should be a fun one to check out in a little bit. I got this book a long time ago. It's 100 Sporting Events You Must See Live. Definitely check it out. It's by Robert Tuckman. I think I'm saying his last name right, but really cool, gamut of events. The top couple, really pricey, that I haven't been able to get to yet. Masters, World Cup in a couple of years. It's happening in the United States. But then the bottom, there's more like Dan Solar kind of events, like the Bean Pot Tournament, Nathan's Hot Dog Eating Contest, pen relays, like kind of more low-key, accessible, kind of events. So definitely recommend checking it out. So this is it's going to be number 27 of the 100 that I've been to. The NCAA does the announcements for a lot of different sporting events years in advance. So I think I saw Phoenix and San Antonio for 24-25, like back in 21 or 22. And once I had went to Phoenix in the summer a couple years ago, it just made more sense that I would do it in San Antonio when they hosted it, because I consider myself pretty well traveled, but San Antonio and Texas in general is one of the areas I haven't really checked out much. I went to Dallas like 20 years ago, but that's my only familiarity with Texas. So this is really the first time I'm back in Texas and checking out the San Antonio area for the first time. And the other reason it really made sense to do the Alamo Dome too is because I think, even though football is played there, the Spurs played there for years, growing up. I think the Memorial Day Miracle, like Sean Elliott shot, I'm pretty sure that shot happened at the Alamo Dome. And to me, it just feels like a basketball arena. Like it's, NRG Stadium, State Farm, recently, in Glendale, and there's Lucas Oil, Indianapolis. Those are all like football, like, they're massive stadiums. Alamo Dome, it just feels more comfortable as a setting for basketball. A long time ago, I went to the Carrier Dome for the Sweet 16, I think it was, and it's just like a weird-looking setup in a football stadium. And while Alamo Dome does host football, basketball feels like natural there. Some of these other stadiums, like, they're clearly football stadiums, like the Superdome, places like that. Back at my place now. In an hour or so, I'm going to the opening night game for the Texas League between the San Antonio Missions and I think one of the better names in minor league sports, the Amarillo Sod Poodles. So that game's starting at 7:05 my time. 2 top 20 prospects within their own organizations. It's a matchup. Amarillo is the Arizona Diamondbacks AA team, and then San Antonio is the Padres. Padres are starting Jagger Haynes, and the Sod Poodles are starting Dylan Ray. They're both the top 20 pitching prospects within their respective organizations. So should be a pretty good matchup. They're both top 5 round picks. I think one was in the 4th round, one was in the 5th round. So should be a really good good, exciting opening matchup. And it's my first game in the Texas League, so I'm looking forward to that. Oh, yeah. About an hour and a half away from the first game of the Final Four, so I'm about to start making my way over there. Really looking forward to this one with Auburn playing Florida. Auburn, by far, I think the best team up until February. Then they lost a couple games to end the regular season, and then lost to Tennessee in the conference tournament. But they were an amazing team for the first few months of the season. And then Florida, who's really looked like one of the best, if not the best team over the last month or so. These two really seem like they've been on a collision course. It was the game I was hoping for once the bracket got announced a couple weeks ago, so I'm glad it's coming to fruition. The other thing I like about this matchup is, some of you that follow me on Instagram know that I'm trying to see a Division I game at every men's school. Last year, I happened to see both Auburn and Florida play games, so it's pretty cool that they're meeting in the Final Four so soon after that. I saw Auburn play Chattanooga, and congrats to Chattanooga, by the way. They just won the NIT. I think they were like 150-1 or something crazy to win the NIT, but they just wound up doing that. So clearly a much improved team from that Chattanooga team last year. But Auburn won that game by about 35. And then Florida played LSU, and that game, it was 82-80. That's a very similar score to what I'm expecting today. I think I saw the total for today's 158.5. I think this first game is going to be really high scoring. It's important to note in those two games that I saw, Clayton had double digits in the first half, and Broome for Auburn also had double digits in the first half. So it's going to be interesting to see if they can get out the hot starts today with that. Auburn in particular, I've seen a lot of over the last 2 years. I've seen pretty much all their tournament games this year. Saw that Chattanooga game last year, saw a lot of the Yale game, and then parts of the Tennessee game, things like that. So I'm pretty familiar with Auburn, and it's why I like their chances today. I think they're a pretty good matchup with Florida. I think Broome is a problem in the post. Like I said a few days ago, if he's healthy, I trust him more to do work inside than the Florida big men, and I think he's going to make a difference today. And I think a key thing down the stretch too is how available will Clayton be for shots. If they do a good job clamping down on him, they can't afford to let up a three like he hit against Texas Tech. But if Auburn can do a good job defending that, I like their chances. And I think Todd Pettiford's also an X factor today. I would be very, very surprised if the Auburn-Florida game wasn't competitive. I think that's got a good chance to be the better game of the two today. For that second game, I don't know how you pick against Duke until further notice. They just look like they've been on a mission for the last month. And Houston's just the style of way they play is very defensive. You just don't trust them to have enough offense to get past a team like Duke. Like I said the other day, Duke's the second highest rated team in the history of KenPom, so that's going back about 30 years. And it just seems like, for the purpose of the championship, it almost needs to be Duke, because Duke-Florida and Duke-Auburn should be a great game. I don't know if Houston being there would be as good as a final, or would be as good of a final. I think Kneppel's an X factor. He had a big game the other night against Alabama. They can't let him go off like he did. And he's going to have to win this like 70-65, something like that. I think 68-70 is a number that is the magic number for Calvin Sampson. And anything, if Houston can get about 70, I think that's the magic number. They're not going to win a game like 86-82, something like that. You can't get into a game like that with Duke. And I guess let Flagg have his points and do your best to defend the other guys. And I do think a key here is Houston has tons of experience compared to Duke. Duke's a pretty young team. And it's just one of those things, too. The Final Four is in San Antonio. It's due to go Houston's way eventually. Like, they've been here. They've had good teams. They had the injury last year to Jamal Shed, that I think, really hampered their chances. One of these years, I do think karma plays into a little bit, so it'll be interesting to see. If Houston ever gets by tonight, they have a great chance Monday.
Oh, he's got it. He's got it. No. Unbelievable. What a win. Holy shit. What a comeback.
I'm outside of Toyota Field now, which seats about 8,200 people. Going to check out my first USL game. I've seen some MLS games, especially the Philadelphia Union. I've probably seen about 10 games with them. But I'm checking out my first USL game. Going to see the San Antonio FC team play. I think one of the best team names in sports. They're playing the Phoenix Rising. So looking forward to that one. I think it's pretty early on the USL season, so should be a good game to check out. It's beautiful weather. It's a little bit cooler though today than the last few days in San Antonio. Only about 60 degrees right now, so it's chilled out a little bit before the weather gets hotter later this week again. So yeah, it should be a fun game though. All right, so it's the day of the final. Looking forward to it tonight. We're about 10 hours away. This is a hard game to call, and honestly, it wasn't the championship I was expecting. There was a part of me that wanted to take Houston over Duke, but I just didn't see it with how well Duke played against Alabama, against Baylor. Like they destroyed those teams. A definitive case can be made for both of these teams tonight. Walter Clayton Jr. is the best player on the floor, and Elijah Martin's a hell of an athlete too. And I think he's going to be a big X factor tonight. He had that big dunk, the thunderous dunk the other night that really helped out Florida and propelled them to a win. I could see him having a big game tonight. And then Houston has the experience. They're like men compared to a lot of these other younger teams in the NCAA. And Crier's been around forever, and he had some huge shots the other night against Duke. Clayton Jr. is the best player on the floor. He's the first player since Larry Bird to have back-to-back 30-point games in the Elite Eight and Final Four. So there's some serious history there. Florida, if it was a 7-game series, they would probably prevail, I would think. But as I said in one of my first videos, this is, in terms of KenPom running their site, this is the 6 versus 8 best teams in the history of their site. So these two are like very, very close together. The spread tonight's only 1.5. Florida's favored. And Houston, they dug themselves out of a 59-45 hole the other night. So they're not going to be scared. And honestly, they shot horrendously that first half. There's no way they're going to shoot that poorly tonight, which makes me like their chances. And like I was saying the other day, I do think karma, and it just seems like it's their time a little bit. I do not think Clayton will go for 30-plus tonight. I think Sampson has to hold him 23, 25 points. If you told Kelvin Clayton will only score around that, I think he'd take his chances. And the other night, which I kind of discounted in my preview for it, Florida it just shoots the 3-ball better than Auburn, and Auburn really was sloppy with the ball second half. Houston, I think, will be a little more careful with the ball and take it more possession by possession. And I like Houston. I like their experience more than Auburn in that regard. I think they're more like regimented. Samson does a really good job keeping the fitness in check with them, and I've heard most of those guys, which are big guys, are run like under 6 minute miles. So I do think that will help tonight for sure in their chances against Florida. And the fitness element, you could see, definitely played a role down the stretch against Duke. It seems like Houston is a lot like St. Anthony's high school was in that regard, where they want their players down the stretch to be, to constantly like be able to outrun their opponents. And I think Samson has really implemented a program, pretty similar to that over the years, where, for the height they have and the grown men they have, they are really physical and have a lot of endurance. I think Houston's experience and athleticism ultimately is going to make the difference tonight. I also like the idea, it being my first Final Four I'm checking out, that Houston's never won the title. Florida obviously won back-to-back titles about 20 years ago. So I'm pulling for Houston tonight. It would be really cool to see a first-time team win the title, and also I just think it would be good for college basketball for a team like Houston to win the title in this new era with the NIL and these constant transfers. Houston is still, compared to a lot of other programs, they're very like process based and kind of through the system like over the years. Samson's really done a good job the last 5-10 years implementing his kind of program, and they are still at its core closer to a Gonzaga year in, year out. I know Gonzaga's had a couple, pretty high prospects over the years, but in terms of like their caliber of athlete, like they generally don't get Cooper Flag. And, like these elite NBA prospects, they are still, from like a college basketball identity, they're closer to like a Gonzaga than they are like Kansas, even though Kansas has been down a couple years lately, or like, Kentucky, North Carolina over the years. They, for a long time, or for a few years at least, were in the AAC. That was considered a pretty weak basketball conference. They did a hell of a job this year in the Big 12, pretty much run that league, in their first year or two of being in that league. And I like the Cougars tonight. I'll take them 68-65 for the 2025 National Championship. Should be a hell of a game tonight.
it up at halftime. Oh, block though. That was block. Oh, take it in. Nope, nope, nope. Get it. Let's go. Come on, Houston, get a bucket. Let's go. Ah. What a set of games.
Thank you, Dan Nation. Thank you for coming and showing up for the Gators tonight. Walter Clayton Jr. Walter becomes the most outstanding player here in San Antonio. Walter Clayton Jr. Back-to-back 30-point games. And then you don't get a bucket until 8 minutes to go in the game. How did you stay positive? How did you navigate this night?
Man, we've been saying it all year, man. Our motto is, we all can go, man. We got a team full of guys that can go. It ain't just about me. We got multiple guys on this floor that can go. get a bucket or do anything. So my team held me down until I was able to put the ball in the basket. Shout out to my boys.